Hello, everybody. I'm Jackie Clayton with Recruiting Daily, and this is Recruiting Live with our special guests, Carmen Hudson and Mark Tortorici. As a friendly reminder, this is a Q&A. This is for you. We've got stuff that we want to go into, and I know these are two of the hardest working people in recruiting, and that you'll have several questions for them. If you do, put them down in that little question box down there. We'll get them answered. If we don't, I promise I will send them to them, and they will answer right away. Right, guys? Right?
Eventually, yes.
But if you also can follow along and tweet it out on Twitter with the hashtag #RDaily, and I think I've done the intro. So without further ado, I've known you guys for a long time now, but I don't know if everybody knows your background and who you guys are. So, Mark, why don't you give everybody a little snippet about your background?
Right, because nobody knows the real me. So yeah, hi everyone. Mark Tortorici, trainer, sourcer, recruiter extraordinaire. Been training sources and recruiters for many years. Have my own training business doing that, and also do some music on the side. And here to talk about some kind of like cool tools that that you can be, if you're not already using, but that you can be using for your searches, and also preview what Talent42 is going to be about and some of the cool things you're going to learn if you go, and only if you go.
Steve Levy said, "And you have big hair."
Right. I'll get a haircut today, so you know.
Thanks, Steve. And Carmen, why don't you tell people a little bit about your background too?
I like the hair. I'm digging the hair. I am Carmen Hudson, and what do? I'm a principal consultant at Recruiting Toolbox, and that means that despite our name, we don't recruit. We actually, wait, can you see me? Okay, there we go. Okay. So we don't recruit. We actually consult. We take a look at your process, your strategy, your tools. We train recruiters. We train hiring managers. You can find us on RecruitingToolbox.com. Small group of us. There are 5 consultants, and you probably know the names of most of us. The company was founded by John Glasalica. And so that's what I do as my day job, and then I have lots of side gigs because I'm just that person. And one of them is Talent42. So John and I founded Talent42 6 years ago. And this year it's coming up, June 27th through the 28th. And we're excited to pull together, we think, if not the only, certainly the very best conference for tech recruiters. So if you are recruiting engineers or application developers or anyone in that ecosystem, this is the conference to be at. We don't only focus on talent acquisition folks at the conference. We actually bring in engineering leaders at the conference. And so just before this Recruiting Live event, I was on a call with a data engineer at Netflix and having a great conversation about her work and her job, which is all about availability and figuring out who's watching what when. And so she's the person who's responsible for, if you watch the House of Cards season premiere or launch of the new series, she's the person who makes sure that it's available 24/7 and that you don't experience any glitches. So these are the kinds of people who come to Talent42, and they're going to be on stage talking about their jobs as engineers and how we can best partner as recruiters to find more people like them.
Well, I think that's amazing to think about because they have so much massive data at Netflix. They have, I would say, the only real people who really know you are the people at Netflix and at Amazon. Like, they know the real you.
Yeah, people at Amazon, Netflix, Google. And Google, right? They could actually probably take me down, but fortunately, I'm not running for office.
Right. Well, yet. You are a busy person, though. But I wanted to share, I think, like, Steve Levy did say, he was like, Carmen and Torts, it's a sourcegasm, is what he said on there.
Yeah, you know what?
No comment on that.
No comment. I'm just leaving that alone. You're right. Don't touch it. That's it.
I think it's true. I mean, you two are very, very approachable. Like everybody, if they want to reach out, absolutely, you're always willing to share information and what you know. But people don't
Can I
get
tell
it.
you a story though? Can I tell you a story about Mark? Because he wasn't always approachable.
Yes,
I met Mark. Maybe more than 10 years ago. I was at Yahoo, and Mark was working on a big project for us, and they would bring Mark to the meetings because Mark was that guy actually doing the shit. And so I wanted to get all up in his business, right? I'm like, what are you doing, and how are you doing this, and what tools are you using? And he's just like, listen, corporate lady, back off.
Oh man.
that's cool. Mark. She brings up a good thing. What do you use on a given day? Like when you're training, what do you think recruiters should make sure and spend attention to? Like, what do you use?
I can show you here. Am I allowed to show desktop? Would that help?
Go for it.
All right, let's see here. Hold the phone.
We're holding.
Let's see here. Let me just.
I think I could do that. Let me see.
Actually, I think you have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to give me control so I can rule the world or whatever.
I will absolutely do that.
There we go. Nice. Okay. So here you guys should see my screen, correct?
Yep, that's what we can see it.
Okay, good. So yeah, so kind of your must-have Chrome extensions. These are, and of course these change, and there's a lot more besides these, but at least when you're like sourcing just to make your life somewhat bearable, you can at least start with these. And these are all Chrome extensions. Profit and Hunter for finding emails. Contact Out is also for finding emails, but it has a very great export feature from LinkedIn, which is why I put it here. And the search bar, which allows you to highlight information and then search it on any website of your choosing. Full Contact, another people finding tool. And then, of course, everyone knows Intelligent Search by Shane McCusker for searching Facebook profiles.
I don't know if I know this. The search bar, I haven't dug into a lot about.
Yeah. So search bar is great because if you don't know something, you can highlight a keyword and then using a shortcut key, like in this case, I did Alt-G, it will then search that word in a new tab. So it's not mind-blowing, but in terms of saving time, it's great. Because then you can say, oh, okay, Scala is this programming language, you could learn about it and then just go on. So that's one reason why it's cool. Another reason why it's cool is because you can also highlight names, and besides searching them on maybe, let's say, LinkedIn, which you can also do a Google search and see what else this person is all about, and then get their information that way as you're searching for them.
Now, and what are out of those tools? What's the one that you think you use like the most often, or do you use those 5 tools every day?
I use them all the time. I mean, like for instance, full Contact Out for Gmail. I mean, sorry, Contact Out is a great one because you can look at a profile and then you can find the emails, and you can also save these profiles into a Google Doc spreadsheet. And of course, we all know once it's in a Google Doc spreadsheet, you can then view it and then export that information into your ATS or into your CRM, and it becomes very easy to manage. See? And that's only with one tool, finding these emails. That's not the only tool that you can use. There's way more that you can use besides this. You can use this in conjunction with something like Profit or something like Hunter, and you can just add multiple emails and then import this information into your ATS. So you do have to pay after a certain point with this particular tool, but because it's so easy to do this when you're building out competitive lists of candidates and stuff like that, it might be worth it to fork out the whatever it is, the $10, $10 a month or whatever it is. I have 112 credits here on mine, but you can go through them pretty fast if you do that. And then the other one to find emails, of course, is like Hunter, where you can click on a person's profile, and then it will let you know if it's right or not. Now, with any of these tools, no matter what the tool is, you want to make sure that you kind of do a sanity check on this email, because sometimes the data points that the algorithm matches could be the wrong data points, and then the end result would be wrong. So you want to, kind of double check it to make sure that you're getting the right email for the right person. But those are just a couple of the those tools that I like to use on this particular list.
I'm glad you brought that back up. And as side
Can I show
note,
my screen too?
say that again?
Can I show my screen too?
Yes, that's what I was
Yes.
going to say. Carmen, next. I'm scrolling.
All right. Okay. Show my screen. All right.
Question really quick while you get that done. April Merzo, thank you for coming out. She wanted to know, with Contact Out, is that free, or do you need to register?
It's free to a point. So it's free like for the first 50 or something requests per month, and then after that you have to pay.
All right, beautiful.
So I have not paid for mine yet. So what I do is I kind of like give it to other people, and I rack up these credits so that I don't have to pay.
Smart move.
So I didn't write up a nice list like Mark, but I'll just show you live because he's an overachiever. I rolled out of bed and thought, what the hell am I going to talk about? But I'll show you just some of my favorite things. So first is Recruiter Hunt. That's another one of my side projects. So this is a free website, and what I'm trying to do is actually capture all this cool stuff that people are always talking about. So Mark just talked about Chrome extensions. I've got 139 Chrome extensions that have been indexed that are relevant to recruiters and sourcers, and every time I hear about a new one, I try to add it. Contact info, there's 65, and I've got a few more waiting to add. And so it's just recruiterhunt.com, explore it. You can suggest your own tools, that kind of thing. Feel free to use this. I try to send out email when I have new tools out there, but I haven't been able to do that recently just because of time, but I'll get back into it and just start to build the community a little bit more. But for me, every time someone talks about a new tool, I don't have a great memory, and I needed a great place to store all this stuff, and I thought other people might enjoy that as well. So that's another one.
I like this site. This is a good site. I've looked through it before. It's good stuff.
Yeah, are you finding new stuff? I really hope people can discover new tools. So we'll see. Every time I learn about something that's really great, though, I try to get it out there as quickly as I can. There are probably 600 sites there, and I think my goal is to get somewhere closer to a couple thousand, because I know there are way more out there. Another one of my favorite tools these days is called Gorgias, and it's a Chrome extension, and essentially it helps me pre-write all those emails that people bug me about things that I don't want to, make sure that I don't want to write these emails over and over. So we get lots of people reaching out to us who have no experience in recruiting or technology, and they want to speak at Talent42. So I have a preset email that I can edit, and that shows up, immediately. And I love this tool because A, it's free, B, it's easy to navigate and manage. All I have to do is hit the G if I want to add a new email, new template. I just hit the new template button there. It's really easy to use. And another, while we're in email, that I love is Clearbit Connect. So another contact finder. Love this tool. But if I don't know someone's email, or if I just want to search for emails within a particular company, all I have to do is put the company name or throw in a job title, and sure enough, for this particular company, the global CIO, and there's Jose's social connections as well as his email address. I find that very helpful, especially if I'm double checking email. It's convenient to have it right there. Other tools that I love all Chrome extensions, quite frankly, But one of my new favorites is Toby. So Toby, because I'm on the internet all day looking at stuff, trying to find new tools, it allows me to, whatever my last website, let's say a CV scanner was something I wanted to add to Recruiter Hunt. I didn't have time to do it right then. I just can collect all of the sites that I want to go back to. Kind of like Pocket, but for me, a little bit more immediate, and then I can manage, whether or not I leave that there, or if I've actually already added it to Recruiter Hunt, I can get rid of it. Makes it easy for me, and I also use it personally for online shopping. It's fun, so you can do work in personal or add tags, that kind of thing. So that's cool. And the other thing, it's called Toby, and it's a Chrome extension. Toby Mini is the version that I have, so it's free. I'm all about free. And what else do I love? Oh, my other thing that I use all day long, but I think I had to pay for this. It's called Screeny. So I'm always taking screenshots of stuff, and then I want to add the screenshot into whatever presentation. And I hate like going in and inserting the photo and doing. This is the most annoying thing in the world. But Screeny allows me to just like pull that picture right there from my screen. Of course, it's going slow now, but there you go. There's my image from wherever, so my screenshot goes right there, and then it stores them, so I can always go back and find them. So that's really helpful when you're a trainer, because you're always trying to collect images and share images, and that is really helpful for me. Those are a few tools that I absolutely live by every day.
So it was Gorgias, right? Was the first one?
Yes.
And then the Clearbit Connect.
Yes.
Got it. Sarah Scratch, I hope that answers of that one, and thanks again for being here. And really quick, we're about to have only 13 minutes. I always feel like this should be an hour, but if everybody send me your questions right now so we could try to get those answered as soon as possible. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
And this is my other favorite one. It's old school, but I have squirrel syndrome, so everything takes me longer because I'll start something, then I'll look something up on the internet, then I'm reading an article, then I'm tweeting bad things to our president. So I set timers for myself. So if I'm working on an email, I'll set a timer that says get this done in 5 minutes. And this silly little Chrome extension helps me be completely productive because it reminds me stop going down rabbit holes and get things completed in a reasonable amount of time. It's very simple. It's the egg timer for my computer.
Electronic egg timers.
Yes.
Well, I was wondering, both of you guys, as training and trying to help people get better at their craft, what would you say is the question you get, or the situation that you see the most that recruiters seem to need the most help with?
Yeah, I got one for sure. And it actually ties in with my roundtable topic as well. So when recruiters, actually here, can I do one quick share on this?
Sure.
Okay, so
please, there you go.
There. So you guys see that all right?
Yes.
Okay, so when recruiters don't understand what they're looking for, and they use a lot of the drop-down menus, they use a lot of the pre-populated search intelligence, but they don't understand why they're doing it. And because they don't understand why they're doing it, they end up buzzwording all of their titles, they end up buzzwording the strings, and then they end up buzzwording the questions, and it just becomes a horrible buzz feedback loop or something. So when your hiring manager's like, yeah, give me a big data engineer, I want big data, then you're just like, okay, sure. And they go to LinkedIn and that's what they search. Big data engineer. But as we know, that's wrong. So how do you find the right thing? You have to figure out even if you do search for that on LinkedIn, you're not going to stop there. You're going to search for it. If people have that title, that's fine. But when you look at the individual profiles, the way that you learn how to put in the right words is by looking at what the person did in their previous job titles, look at the technologies that they used, and say, okay, well, big data is a kind of a buzzwordy thing. What did they do before that? Oh, he was data warehouse. He was part of the data services team. He's developing applications for aggregating a large amount of data. And by looking at all of these keywords and starting to piece together how people are using them, you can then go back to your search and say, okay, what is this big data thing? And once you do that, you can start to put in the keywords so that you're not just looking for big data. You can say, well, they could be a data engineer. They could work in a data services team. They could work on a data pipelining team. You can put in the languages that they use. You can put in generic job titles, but they're not really generic because you have everything else for the string. And once you do that, now you've got a much wider net, but it's still very specific to the job that you're looking for. So I think that's the piece that most recruiters and sourcers kind of like, they don't do. They don't kind of like figure out what the words are and what they mean and how to put them together in order to yield a correct string.
Yeah, I have a quick question. Do you use a Boolean search like tool? I know that there have been a number of Chrome extensions to help build that out. Is there one that you use or recommend for people to use?
Yeah, I don't use one at all, actually.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because I can instantly think of like the string based off of whatever it is that the person wants. And also this string, for instance, I would run this perhaps in, let's say, a LinkedIn search. But then if I was like trying to run this in, let's say, a GitHub search, well then I would not do it because GitHub, for instance, doesn't have job titles. So for a GitHub search, I would not run this in GitHub. I would actually have to change the search and say, okay, well, there are no job titles, so I'm going to have to get rid of the job titles. And for GitHub, you're going to be looking at really languages, and you're going to be looking at tools they're developing. So then your whole string becomes really something like that. And then that's what you would run in GitHub. You would do your regular site, github.com. You would put in blog or report because that's what all the profiles have, and that becomes your search. So a Boolean string writer would not help you there because you wouldn't know what to take out and what to keep. But because of that, now I'm getting all these people who are talking about writing software utilities in Hadoop, in Python, and Java in order to access huge amounts of data. Do they have the word big data on their profile? No, but they're probably doing the job. So it's just a matter of what you know is available on the sites that you're using, and that changes the string.
Nice. Carmen, what about you? What's the most common thing that you've seen that recruiters seem to be asking about?
I literally get probably 2 or 3 times a week, either an email or a call from, oh, I'm presenting. I don't want to present. Do I have to present? Okay, I'll present.
No, you don't at all.
Oh, okay, great. All right, so I get emails and calls from managers who literally say, I need to make sure my recruiters can search and source beyond LinkedIn. So people just get stuck there, and it's absolutely a great repository of many candidates. It's not the only place to source, and so my job becomes to help people figure out how do you get to people beyond LinkedIn without wasting a lot of time, because that's the other thing. There are tons of ways to get to candidates. The question is, where do you invest your time, and how do you do it efficiently? So just giving people a few ideas and teaching people how to X-ray efficiently. So if you use one of those Boolean string generators, it's all great. But if you come across a new tool that's or a new website or database of candidates and you don't know how to search it, then those Boolean string generators can't help you. So my job is to teach people how to fish. You can give them a Boolean string generator and they can fish for a day, but teach them how to build an X-ray string and they can fish for a lifetime or some philosophical shit like that.
And have a lot of good seafood.
And have a lot of good seafood. And better seafood, right?
Better seafood, that's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think what Carmen said about like people saying, you know, how do I search beyond LinkedIn? But also, the thing I get that one a lot, and I also get like, how do I get people to respond? They're not responding on LinkedIn. Like, I've done all the searches. I'm like, okay. I'm like, first of all, are you emailing them, or have you found their personal email, and are you actually writing them a thoughtful message? And that right there, then that becomes the huge like gaping chasm that most of, I don't know, 80% of recruiters fall into.
Exactly. I absolutely assume that most people, if they are professionals and involved in work day to day, they are not checking their LinkedIn on a daily basis, probably not a weekly basis. Many people hate it so much because the interface is difficult for non-recruiters. They're not checking it on a monthly basis. So you got to find other ways to get to people.
You're right.
And if you're fishing from that pond, you've got probably at least a dozen other recruiters going after that same candidate.
Yep.
That's right. I think that's partly why teaching them how to fish is so important with the different tools. And
yeah.
I feel like I would be remiss if I don't bring up Twitter with Carmen, because people know you well now, but I don't know if everyone knows, about your like Twitter background and everything that you're one of the proponents of using Twitter as a recruiting resource. Am I right?
So, okay, can I tell you two short stories?
Absolutely.
Two stories of failure. So, the first is Amazon's an awesome company, thanks in no part to me. So, the person now who runs Amazon Web Services, Andy Jassy, very senior person at Amazon, interviewed me, and I wanted nothing more than to work at Amazon in the mid-90s. And I got an interview, and Andy asked me during the interview, so Amazon's thinking about expanding beyond books, what categories would you consider expanding? And I said, in no uncertain terms, with complete certainty, never ever do such a thing. You must only sell books. This is the only way you will succeed. So this is how confident I was in my answer, and he couldn't hang up fast enough. So and it's amazing that I did eventually go on to work there, and he did manage to tease me about that forever. So number one. Number two, back in 2006, 2007, I just became completely fascinated and enamored with Twitter, and I developed the first Twitter job distribution engine, which it would automatically scrape your jobs and post them to Twitter and deliver them to candidates in an organized fashion. So if you were a nurse in San Diego, we can get you a job tweet that included nursing jobs in San Diego.
Tweet a job.
Tweet a job. There you go. Right. And today, of course, I absolutely, completely do not advise that anyone ever post their jobs in such a way. Do not automatically stream your job postings. But I'm the person who started it. So, therein my love of Twitter. On the other hand, I think it's an incredible tool. I think it's one of the most important tools invented in the 21st century.
That's huge. I agree with you. I love it. I love it. Now I'm looking. We have just a few minutes, but I did want to talk a little bit about Talent42 so people know. Can you tell us a little bit about the format of what's going on? I know that Mark had talked about roundtables, and I've heard it brought up a little bit. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah. So I hate going to lame conferences where you walk away and you spent 2 days somewhere and you go, they told me shit that I already knew, or there's no new ideas, or nothing inspired me. So our goal is that you walk out and that you walk away with something that makes you think about doing this in a way that's either improved or new or exciting to you. So we have typical sessions. We don't have very many breakout sessions, with the exception of the sourcing roundtables. And this year, I think we're going to have 12 roundtables with folks like Mark and Dean DaCosta and Amy Beth Quinn and Maisha Cannon, really fantastic people. And in a small group setting, you get to sit down with one of these people, and they will walk you through some of the tools that Mark talked about and what is Mark's technique for figuring out technology, right? That's like a cool thing. I'd love to get inside his brain. And then you can bring your laptop and actually ask Mark questions, and he can help you with your specific challenge. And it's very popular. People love this part of the conference. This year, I think you're getting an hour and a half, and we're going to do on day one an hour and a half, and it's more about technique and approaching candidates. And on day two, it's going to be more about tools. So Dean DaCosta's table always has a bunch of folks surrounding it. So this year I decided, well, we're going to give people all the tools they want. And so everyone's going to talk about their favorite tools, which I think, the more we can share our desktops and how we get this done, the better. That's going to be cool. And then we always have great surprises. There's always great food, great drinks. The And or and Nots, Matt's band, Mark's band is are you guys going to perform?
We may be able to perform. I'm working on that, but I think
Okay.
we're trying to make it happen.
All right. Well, they've written a new song for Talent42. They are official songwriters, so they will make an appearance. And this year, Beyonce is going to make an appearance.
I was about to say, I heard we had a very special guest that is going to be there.
Workhuman had Michelle Obama. We plan to have Beyonce in some form or fashion.
Some form. A hologram Beyonce.
A hologram of Beyonce, because she loves tech recruiting. She loves tech recruiting.
I'm sure.
Come on, let's get information. She is a sorcerer.
What? What?
That's the lyric, right? Come on, ladies, let's get information. She's talking about sourcing.
At 12:31, you're telling me that Beyonce's going to be at Talent42?
Well, no, I'm saying that she's a sorcerer and she's interested.
We're going to go with that. And with that, I want to thank Mark and Carmen. We have to do this again, by the way.
Let's do it again.
Yes.
But of course, we have to catch up beforehand because I just have more questions now.
I know. I have more Mark stories too.
Of course. And thank you, everybody, for being patient. I'm in my mother's dining room, and everybody thanked them for not showing up, even though you saw me look from the side. I was looking at my mother going, oh, God, what are you doing? And I would also like to thank David, Nicola, Maisha Cannon for showing and being here with us, Tim Hansen, Susie Greco, Joe Weech all joined us. And we are recording this. We're going to be sending it out.
I didn't know that.
Editing it,
of course,
hopefully.
We'll be updating it as we go along with pictures of, since Beyonce's going to be there, I look forward to doing that too. So if you do have questions, do go ahead and send them out. We'll get them answered. But I love you guys. I haven't seen you in a long time. I'm glad y'all.
I hope you can come out too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a short drive from Waco, so.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys, and thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you next Friday.
All right, thanks.
Bye.